Welcome, neighbors. Today we're going to set up a Weber Smokey Mountain Smoker. This is a bullet style smoker, very similar to a pit barrel smoker. It's made by Weber. It's an excellent smoker. It runs at a constant temperature, requires very little care and feeding during its life or during its cycle. So we'll go ahead and get it set up. We'll take it apart, get ready to load it with some charcoal. So we're taking off the lid, the cooking grate, the second level cooking grate. That's another great thing about this smoker is it actually has two different levels that you can cook on. This is the baffle. You basically fill it with water. You could use things like sand or other materials to diffuse the heat. The barrel, which is the body of the smoker, and in the body and the bottom here you have the firebox. So I add in wood chunks to the smoker. This particular smoking will be for some pork ribs, so I like to use a combination of apple wood chunks and hickory chunks. As you can see, they're nice sized, fist-sized chunks. You can either get these online or at your local bulk hardware store like a Home Depot or a Lowe's. They quite often carry these things. Once again, you're not using chips, you're using blocks or chunks. Now you notice that I've put the wood in before I've put the charcoal. This is to distribute the smoke throughout the smoking cycle, and I distribute them fairly close. So I always use Kingsford briquettes. I use Kingsford competition briquettes that I get at Costco, but they're basically just Kingsford blue. They give a nice even heat throughout the duration. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and fill the firebox here about 2/3 full. It's about a 4 hours, 5 hours smoke, so don't have to fill it all the way up to the top of that ring, which I would do for a brisket or something of the longer, like a pork butt. We'll go ahead and get the briquette started. I'm going to use the chimney to ignite the charcoal. So we just grab a few pieces of newspaper, put them in the bottom of the chimney, and go ahead and fill the chimney with the briquettes. Now we're going to use what's called a minion method for allowing this heat to distribute slowly to the other charcoal briquettes. So basically we'll put the briquettes in the firebox around the whole area, leaving a hole or a depression in the center, which once these briquettes are lit and good and hot, we'll go ahead and just place them in the center of that firebox on the bottom of the smoker, and then they'll slowly spread out to the charcoal that's spread around the ring, which allows for an even long-term cook. So we'll go ahead, get that chimney lit, and it's going to take about 10 or 15 minutes for those coals to get hot. So in the meantime, I'm going to line the baffle or the water pan with tin foil. This helps clean up later. This sits below the cooking grates, so anything that you're smoking, the grease will drip down into this water pan. So cleanup's a lot easier if you line it with some tin foil. Like so. So we're ready. We just need to let those charcoal briquettes heat up for about 10 or 15 minutes. Okay, so now that time has come, these briquettes are glowing hot. We go ahead and dump them into the center of the firebox. You notice I put them right on top of the one piece of wood I put in the middle. That's to allow the smoking to start right away. And we'll go ahead and assemble the components. We put the barrel back on to the base. That large silver door there is to add additional wood or charcoal later, or potentially even water later in the cook if you have a particularly long cook. Now it's going to be getting hot in there already, so I go ahead and put on my Welding gloves put in the water pan. It's empty at this moment. You want to make sure that you have water to help build the crust and the humidity throughout the cook. In this particular case, I'm going to put, I guess I'll put in about 6 quarts of water. So that'll be 3 of these jugs. So once again, one of the great features of this smoker is it's different than an offset smoker, in that an offset smoker you need to constantly tend the fire, keep the temperatures good. This Smoky Mountain, once you get it going, it's going to maintain temperature pretty solid for many, many, many hours. You control the temperature by the grid, the vents on the bottom. You can see one there on the bottom of the grill. There's 3 of those. You want to open them to be about the size of a straw. The opening about the size of a straw on each one of them. So I've put the lower grate in. You could put a pork butt or something like that and do 2-tier cooking. And this is the top smoking grate. The lid. The vent, which is on the back side, facing away from the camera. I usually keep that wide open. And in that configuration, you'll keep your smoker running at the correct temperature of about 225 to 275 degrees. There's a little grommet here to be able to put in a temperature probe, which I've done. And now we'll just let this thing get up to the appropriate temperature, once again about 250 degrees or so, and put our food on, and that'll be done. Okay, so that wraps up our video on how to start up the Weber Smokey Mountain Smoker. It's a great piece of equipment. I love it. It's simple to use. It maintains set temperatures without any work. You just get it set, adjust the vents a little bit, and it'll hold that rock solid for hours and hours. It's not an offset smoker. A lot of competition people prefer to use that, but the Weber Smokey Mountain has won its fair share of competitions in the hands of the right pit master. So just remember, this is a small channel. We're just getting started out. Every single one of your likes and views and subscriptions are greatly appreciated. So get out there, grill, learn from your mistakes, and have fun. Thanks a lot.